When large jobs require moving massive amounts of snow, get the work done quickly and efficiently with the Western Pile Driver and all-new Pile Driver XL pusher plows, both featuring Trace Edge technology. These pushers scrape down to the pavement with an advanced cutting-edge system that has independent 2-foot sections that move vertically, oscillate, and trip. Get more jobs done faster with the Western Pile Driver lineup of pusher plows.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey with your host, Dave Westcott. The Entrepreneurial Journey is a weekly podcast that streams live every Tuesday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific on Dave's YouTube channel and LinkedIn profile. Now here's Dave with this week's episode.
Good morning and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey. I'm your host, Dave Westcott, and I have with me this morning special guest, Zech Strauser, founder. Did I get that right?
You got it, man. I like how you really accentuated it.
You know, man, I try hard. Like, names are important, right? Like, and you know, you read them and it's like, it's the most stressful thing. In fact, we met at the symposium last year, the SIMA Symposium, and you know, my duties as board chair were at one point to read all the names of the award winners, right? And I knew this like 2 years before I was going to be board chair, and there's like 60 or 70 names to read, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, I hate reading names because I feel so bad when I get them wrong, and some of them are so complex. I try to, I'm like, man, I don't know how to pronounce that at all. And so I would, I literally was having nightmares about getting up there and reading the names. And then last minute, Martin says, hey, I want you to talk about grit, and I'm going to read the names. I was like, yeah, way to go. This is fantastic, man. So I got that pulled off my plate.
Well, that sounds perfect. I won't get into it, but if I read, it's painful to listen.
What about bedtime stories? You telling the kids bedtime stories or what?
Yeah, if I don't know the word, I just make it up and we keep going. It's fine. They don't
there you
know.
go. I like it. So the background, where are we at today? We're at one of your shops, or what's going on?
I'm in a barn garage. I kind of man cave I built near my house on my farm. That it's been a painful experience being a GC. I didn't understand what that fully meant. It was the first thing I've ever built, so it's but it's over a couple of years it'll come out awesome.
Being a GC is tough. So you hired the guys who pour the cement, put in the electrical, do the plumbing, build the walls,
and
all that.
I'm kind of somewhat remote. I'm new to this region, and it was kind of not in my wheelhouse of comfort. Back in Pennsylvania, I didn't have as many resources, so I was shipping people from PA and up above Syracuse, all over hotels, and it was. But
it gets expensive.
Oh yeah, and that was way over budget. And it's yeah, but it's awesome. So I stand here today. I have kind of like this, the shop table where you'd have stools around it. I'm kind of going to create this cool hangout space right in the middle of the garage where the toys and the world of me kind of exist in that space, and kind of like an office. I've always dreamed about like having an office right where your truck is. Like I can hang up right now and walk over and start my truck.
That's kind of cool. I like that. So you can whip out, right? If the heat's around the corner, you can get out in 30 seconds or less.
Or I can start the mower or whatever, my tractor or whatever. Yep.
Yeah, everything's right there. So this is on your family farm, is that right?
Well, yep. It's we're not. We grew some product in 19 when hemp, not THC, but hemp became legal in the state of Vermont to grow. And so I have gardens, and we have chickens, and nothing crazy in the sense of really true farming, but I get to get my hands in the dirt and experience what it's like to have to put your chicken down or whatever it may be.
Yeah. How are you enjoying all that? Is that going the way you thought it would, or?
It's not as sexy as like, oh, I got chickens. And then last night when I was getting my heat lamps, because it's so cold, I went down to Tractor Supply to get some heat lamps, and I said, man, these chickens these eggs must be $2 a piece at the end of the day. But But yesterday I had a bunch of eggs in my one jacket pocket, and I was on the phone like this and put my hand in there and forgot, and they all smashed.
That's tough, man. That's
Anyway,
tough.
But yeah,
So are you saying what you're saying? What, a dozen eggs cost you $2? Is that what it cost you?
I have no idea, but there's no way it doesn't cost 2 to 3 times the amount of going to buy a carton of eggs. Right?
Really?
At the end of the, if you factor in the days that you're not getting any, and you factor in the days, I mean, I've never hit the calculator on it. I don't think I want to. I just feel like overall, but when you add everything up, unless like everything, right? When you're not doing it in scale,
Yeah.
it's probably costing you a lot, right? So
It's interesting. And, not that this is what the show is about, but my wife was talking about getting some eggs, and we had some friends over, and like she went to get some eggs. She feeds the kids eggs in the morning for breakfast. She was like, a carton of eggs is like $12. I was like, a carton of eggs is $12? I was like, this is crazy. I was like, what kind of eggs are these? And she's like, these are just normal, grocery store eggs. And I was like, they're not organic or anything. No, she's like, they're just regular eggs. And I remember eggs being like 99 cents a carton, you know what I mean? And so a friend was there, and he was saying it would be cheaper just to, get some chickens and put them out in the field and, have them go. And you're saying, hey, man, that's not all it's cracked up to be.
And, unless you set up, again, it's all scale, right? You could have 12 chickens, and every day, what you have pets, they're pets. You got to feed them. You got to water them. You got to get the eggs. You got to.
Another responsibility.
You got to, get the rat out every day and throw that in the woods. And, it's real.
You got a lot to do. All right. Enough about the rat out in the woods. So, Mo Money, this is your sweatshirt. I love the way it goes. Mo Money. I like that. And, this is, Urture Apparel and Outfitters. This is the brand. This is your new business. What was the inspiration behind this?
Long time inspiration on, we'll call it, what clothing can represent, right? If I walk in and see, because I know what Western snowplows are, if I see that shirt that you have on, and I'm remotely tied to that world, I go, this guy has something to do with snow removal, right? Yep. So I think long term, or, through my life, there's been one of my most recognized shirts that I could ever remember wearing for the first time was a Dukes of Hazzards t-shirt. It was an 01, right? It said 01 on it.
Yep.
So I resonated with the guy that's going after the bad guys, the guy that's a little bit of a rebel. I used to jump in my mom's car, right? So you can tie with people based off a brand name very quickly, and you put yourself at ease or not, but I think it brings people together. I think brand names, and that's kind of always been with me, whether I was a kid skateboarding and I wore Thrasher t-shirts, so when you keep going all the way, and to today, I feel that the landscape and snow industry has given me some assets, whatever you want to say, experiences, resources, relationships that are incredible today. And I don't think I could have picked a better industry to start my career in, which is predominantly landscape. But now full circle, it's my passion for apparel has always been there. And I wanted to start a t-shirt line. I wanted to start working in apparel at 20 years old, but I went to trades based off necessity. I needed to make money today. I could go mow a lawn and make $100. And it was cash, and it was in my hand. And once I felt what that was like, to be able to kind of sort my own future of however much money I wanted to make, it kept kind of stacking on. And now I'm picking my true passion based off what will I regret if I don't get moving on it. I said, it's apparel. And well, who will my first customer be? The people I know, and the people that in the industry that made me who I am today, right? So right. we our primary customer to start is the landscape and snow industry merging into all trades / workwear.
I love it. I love the mow money. It's got multiple meaning. Like, it could be I'm out there mowing for my money, right? If I'm a landscape guy,
all kinds of meanings.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I feel like maybe I'm on Boys in the Hood and it's like, hey, I need some Mo money, right? Like it's got a couple of little you got some good vibe going there with the Mo money.
And I like many things, you rob and duplicate. I caught it. A buddy of mine named his boat because he was a big mowing company, and on the back of the boat it was named Mo Money. And now, funny enough, he said, because we're going to make him some hats, and he said, can you just put no Mo Money now? Yeah. But so, you know, stolen, but you know, all in good ties. I think there's a lot of and you know, I have the shovel certified hat. A lot of that stuff can be like, is it kind of degrading the whole thing and making a joke of it, or is it talking about the severity of what you can do from getting a shovel in your hand at a young age? And you know, my first job in snow removal was a guy says, hey, I got a dirt bike race tonight. Can you run my shoveling crew at this HOA? You know, I didn't have a company or anything at the time. I was 20. I said, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I ran the shoveling crew. I showed up, we shoveled a bunch of condo stairs, and then, you know, my kind of career went on from there. But so there's a lot of people that can do well from a shovel in their hand.
Absolutely, man. I love it. I think that's cool. So when a company works with you, like, because you're selling gear to companies, right? Like, hey, we're getting vests, we're getting sweatshirts, we're getting t-shirts, we're getting hats, you know, we're hooking up. How does it work? Do they come to you and say, hey, this is our brand, this is our logo, and you put a funky little spin on it? Or how does that work?
Customers are coming through, obviously, like anything, multiple channels. But I think the first channel was people I know, right? You, like anything, if you started a mowing business on your street, you'd knock on your neighbor's doors, right? So knocking on peers' doors, calling them, texting them, maybe being a little bothersome. But at the end of the day, we're reaching out to people. We also have, you know, vice versa, where people are reaching out to us because they heard. We are spending some money on advertising, trade shows, things like that. But at the end of the day, once Urture in general, I look at it as two arms. There's two divisions. There's an outfitting, which we can sell you other proven brand names, sorting through Carhartt, sorting through other brand names, where we can sell that product like a merch shop or any, you know, retailer would sell. As that momentum grows and we are tracking t-shirts of one brand name or another, we're also on the left side on the Urture Apparel. Urture Apparel is designing clothing, working with manufacturers, and basically getting apparel experts, right, to work with us at designing and sourcing and providing our proprietary brand. So that's more a little bit the long game. The short game is selling whatever they need that we think is a good option. And then as the momentum grows, we're going to be back filling with our own design, one up the product, right? Oh, these are good pants, but if we redesign it in this little twist, it'll be better. And it's our product. So we can have more pride behind our brand versus selling other people's brands.
I love it, man. It kind of reminds me of like this, you know, you go down to Venice Beach and, you know, they've got all these shops on the boardwalk and, you know, like they're making shirts right there in the shops. I mean, you know, they got, I don't know, 7 or 8 of these presses, bam, bam, bam. Like it doesn't matter if it's the Scarface shirt or the, you know, whatever it is, the Venice Beach shirt or whatever's going on. But it's kind of like this. I like that kind of that feel that you've got to the clothing and the gear. And it's kind of got that skateboarder feel, kind of like what you were talking about too. Like
totally. If you read the first Why Urture, how we started, it talked about, you know, we had a heavy skate influence from young. We had some urban influence. I grew up in Poconos, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and 15 minutes west of New York City. So there was a lot over the years, even though we were a woodsy community, kind of out in the woods, we'll call it. There was a ton of influence between Philadelphia and New York City, between schools. And, you know, we used to go into the city as a family when I was a kid. So we had a bed and breakfast, my parents. So there was people always coming. We used to run ads in New York Times to get people to stay at our B&B. So like there was a big influence between nature and urban in my life. So that bled. And then obviously my ski background and this and that, I kind of enjoyed ski gear. And then my work background, I enjoyed a good old fashioned Carhartt beat up jacket. So when you meld all that together, it's a kind of a nature, extreme sports / workwear influenced kind of jambalaya that we'll basically be making over time. But back to the two legs, like outfitting versus us designing apparel. It's a complex world. Like, it would be easier to just say, hey, we're just going to sell 10 other proven brands. And it's really about service at that point, right?
Yep.
But I won't leverage my creative sense on what I was just describing on that jumble. I won't be able to deploy that, that really deeper passion. And I think it's complex, but over time it'll work. And the way it ultimately works is we're going to have a heavy contractor influence in the company. So maybe our sales reps were ex-landscapers, similar to myself, that maybe retired. Yeah, I want to stay in the industry. I want to sell to other peers that I knew and serve them. I love the industry concept. But then on the other side of the table is someone that maybe worked at Patagonia as a bring a product to market person, right? So when we build the brand as it really matures out, it's going to have a heavy influence of both apparel and trades together. Because if I don't bring the trades component in, we just become an apparel brand, and they keep asking Zach, well, what do you think the contract? And it might not stay fresh if I don't continuously kind of keep that balance, I think. So
I love it. I love the way you're putting those things together. And so back to your landscaping, where you founded Nature's Helpers, your company. How long did you run that business for?
Ground up, 25 years, to about 3 regions we served in Eastern PA, to about 25 crews. And then snow, obviously a little different dynamic, not really necessarily talking crews. But it was all commercial maintenance. We'll call them the good traditional ratios of being able to blend into other brands and potentially ultimately sell, which that's what I did do in 2023, October 31st.
Wow. On Halloween.
Is that? Yeah, I guess so. Right around that. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was a couple year quest. You know how it goes. We hear the stories on, you got to keep it in the back. I just lost you.
Are we there, Ralph?
I just saw your camera disappear. Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
I hear you.
I'm fixing it. Hold on. You just disappeared for a second and then came. You're good. Give me just a second.
We just lost Ralph.
Yep. Can you see us now?
Now I hear someone. There you go.
Are we there?
All right, we're back in it.
This is why I can pre-record. Go ahead.
All right. So you were saying you hear how these things go.
Yeah, it's, obviously it's the quest leading up to it. Doesn't happen in one night, right? So there's this whole kind of sorting, vetting, pursuing, still running a company, but then you're kind of running this other initiative that's kind of dovetailed into the company initiative, and then you close, and then there's many feelings after that, right?
Yeah.
Or things you go through. So I can't profess today to be through that. I'm still kind of involved to some extent, and I would say mostly probably somewhat emotionally, not necessarily in person or in flesh and blood involved, but I think it's more of a transition that I'm making still.
If you had to go back and do it again, would you still sell?
Yes, especially when I remind myself of this. You didn't know what you know today then. So you made the decision, and that was the right decision, and today you stick with the decision. If you knew what you knew today, then you probably wouldn't sell, because at the end of the day, if you sold a piece of real estate today, that you bought for $1 million and you could sell for 2, you do know in another 8 years you could sell for 3.
Right.
So when you think that way, or you don't because the market tanks and the building has mold and who knows, right? There is something that maybe doesn't always have that upward trajectory. But I think when you really look at, if you just looked at a compounded, stock market, you're gonna win if you stay in longer, right? So, but why? If you're not waking up excited about where you're headed and you kind of feel there's this nagging thing that you want to do other than what you're doing, then you better go pursue it. So it's kind of what I did.
25 years in the landscape and snow industry is a long time.
Yeah. And at our revenue, we were in the top couple percent. And it was a bunch of achievements there. I just was talking to the guys working on my garage doors right now, talking about never missed a payroll. Yeah. That's just an achievement all in that you didn't pull 10 people or 50 people aside and say, hey, we can't pay you till next week. I mean, that's a huge, just to be able to make sure you hit that payroll every single biweekly at 11:59 p.m. It hits their account. Now that's, and then you can go on with 100 more things that you could be proud of, right? So, it's a huge achievement. It was the Turtles race. It's just add a crew a year, right? 25 years, 25 maintenance, mow / enhancement, whatever crews. It's a crew per year,
Yeah.
So it's a big achievement, but then when you think about it, it's like a crew a year, right? So today in my new ventures, I'm trying to learn how to think way bigger and then backtrack from there versus just, I'm kind of listening slowly to 10X is easier than 2X book right now.
Yep.
It was a 2X world. It was just stack. So it was like 25 years of almost a 4-year business degree. And now I feel like I just got out of college and I'm going now, right? Like that I got my big career.
The wings are clipped and you're ready to crush it.
Exactly.
So what are you going to do to 10X? Like what does that look like? How do you go from a 2X mindset to a 10X mindset?
Right. So I think I'm early on in the listening, but ultimately I think it's really evaluating who you're having help. And if you were probably running a current company today and you really wanted to pivot and get into a whole nother realm, you really have to sit down and really look at, can all these people be the people that help take us there? So I'm getting able to do that out of the gate much more. But that also brings a little level of anxiety because you can, like right now, there's a large national, international apparel brand in my region, which is Cowtown / Ski Town, USA. And you'd never think, there's something came out of right field that it looks like to be, I'm landing the apparel brand for the trajectory in Southern Vermont in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't really see that coming. I was looking at what state, like where are we going to land this? And there's all these apparel executives in a sense, or middle management and above, getting laid off because they're retooling how the company operates. So I'm having lunches every couple of days with all these apparel experts, whether it's videography down to supply chain to controllers so really surrounding myself with industry experts. So if I was going to go into landscaping tomorrow, I'm not going to sit and learn landscaping day over day. I'm going to actually bring in people that know a concept. And that's I think one of the key steps is evaluating who you're going to bring in to help scale it versus I'm going to be the smart guy. I'm going to figure it all out. I'm going to tell everyone where we're headed. Yes, where we're headed, what opportunity I see, but then they have to help me figure out how to orchestrate it because they understand what I don't. So it's really surrounding myself with people that I'm almost intimidated by, if you wanted to say that initially.
That's a lot of growth too. Just being able to walk into that room and say, hey, yep, you've got more experience than me here. Let's level up. I'm learning. Like that's humbling, but I think that's also a smart way to do it. I think that's really, really exciting, and that's really cool the way you're growing your business. So many entrepreneurs in the service-based businesses, in the trade businesses. I mean, that's what makes up so many entrepreneurs. You know, they have that dream to sell their business and to do something that they love. I mean, I hear every day from hundreds of landscape guys who reach out to me on social media, and they're always saying the same thing, like, oh, my business is so tough. I hate what I do. I don't want to mow lawns anymore. You know, whatever it is. What did you do in your business to get yourself to a position where you're in the top 1 or 2% of, you know, companies nationwide, and how did you position to sell? Like, what advice would you give somebody who's listening on the other end of this call saying, you know, man, I'm tired of what I'm doing. I see my future, but I still got to pay the bills. I still got to pay the rent. I still got to go cut the grass. What steps would you give them to get in a position like you've been fortunate enough to get to?
If you're frustrated, there's probably a lack of discipline on your end. First of all. Second of all, again, some of my experiences. Profile the person that you want to learn from. So I did such. Got to be married later. Knows his financials inside and out. Has, you know, a highly disciplined organization. May have sold or may be selling. And again, that was never the I have to. It was, I want to build it that I have an option. And then surround yourself with that person. And, you know, consultants are consultants, but then there's coaches, and coaches make people get stuff done and look in the mirror versus teach you a skill. Like, I think a consultant can teach you a skill, and if you're a high level learner, it might work well for you. If you're stubborn, if you're a hard egg, if you lack some discipline, but have great drive, you probably need someone that's going to beat you up a little bit more, like a gym coach would or whatever.
Right.
So, and I found that, you know, and I'll say his name. I don't always, because I just, you know, I think he enjoys the success we had. His name is Bob Maffey out of Cape Cod. And he was my guy. Like, I profiled somebody out, and I'll always say Jim Paluch. So it's kind of a old name in the industry. And
yeah,
he said, I think you got to talk to Bob Maffey. And I go, really? The guy out in Cape Cod? He goes, yeah. I think that's the guy you need. Now, when you take my personality with his personality, I mean, very rigid. Bob is very rigid. But when you take a kind of a little elusive entrepreneurial, you then get a pretty good recipe to now start including your team, and really get disciplined on what their measurables are. And it's not like a long one-on-one meeting all the time on, is it working? You can look right at the number and know it's working. You can look right at an AR report on Tuesday at 9 a.m. and know by 10 a.m. they better have done their AR calls, right? They're called customer service calls.
Sure.
Hey, everything okay over there? We see you owe $10,000. When can I tell accounting we can get that? Because I want to help you, Mr. Customer. I want to help you, keep doing business with us. So everything under the sun like that, we really got much more discipline. Now, some days my controller and I would go home and had to decompress for 2 days. I always say a funny story. She went home and was mixing a batter with a wooden spoon and cracked it. And I would be like, man, I was washing dishes last night, and I was like, I literally was scrubbing this glass, and it just like almost exploded in my hands. She goes, yeah, I broke a spoon last night. So, we would decompress the meetings, because it was every month, and we build out a, big P&L, a big budget, a big weekly report pack, report up meetings. And We did probably 48 months of hard close P&L meetings with 10 managers sitting around it, reporting their numbers. And each month, it wasn't great the first month. It was incrementally over 48 months. We had 10 managers sitting around a 75-person company reading and being higher intellect on financials than probably most of the country, and just a bunch of people that, my controller went to school for art in Europe. So she didn't even have but she was trained in. And why the person saying, I don't know if I want to do this. And, another person said to me, I'm like, Phil Saxon's actually his name. I said, Phil, I'm so effing sick of talking about weeds in beds. He goes, well, stop going to find weeds in beds. So, we make up the world that we create in our head, right? So like, while you might be sick of it and tired of it, you really need to look at yourself. You need to look at what you're even focusing on. You need to make sure that you're building careers for team, because I don't care if you're selling toilet paper or lawn mowing. I think if it's done with the right passion on creating what's in it for me, because work is supposed to get you, whether you own a company or work at a company, you're supposed to be extracting cash out of that, either a paycheck or 1099, doesn't matter. And you're supposed to be reinvesting it outside of your work.
Right.
It's not supposed to be that my work is everything of me and value. So building a commodity on, doesn't matter what you sell, right? Like we can't all wake up and be super passionate about what we do. No. Like at the end of the day, I think like diversity is a good word to make sure you're focused on. And like all the people judging themselves or their companies, including myself, I think at the end of the day, we are way too, this has been a saying I've formed over the last year. We think we're really important, probably where we're not. And we also don't understand how important we are where we are. Like we're more important in places that we're not aware of. And I think probably the number one thing is like, and Bob and I always, it's the station WIIFM. What's in it for me? Everyone's listening to that station, including the owner. Like, oh, I'm so sick of mowing. Well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to go do this. Well, you're going to have to get this person and know what they want to do outside of work, because then mowing or finding weeds, and maybe that's less relevant all of a sudden because you have a quest outside of here that you're trying to fulfill.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That is fantastic stuff. I love that. I love what you shared. I mean, we make up the world we create. Man, that's fantastic. That's really good.
So like there's a really good, there's an 9 out of 10 chance that it's not the mowing you're sick of. It's not the whatever you're doing you're sick of. It might be what you're not doing that's making you sick of what you're doing. Does that make sense?
I read you loud and clear, man. I love it. I mean, you're speaking my language. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, yeah, there's so much here that I think is awesome. One final question on the landscaping and the entrepreneurial side is, where do you see companies missing discipline? If there's one area that maybe sticks out the most, where does the discipline fall short?
A playbook on budgeting meets P&L equals a produced and or worked P&L, not an accounting P&L. We produced it, right? And not an AR P&L. We produced it.
Yep.
Because it can't be off collected, can't be off. It has to be off. This is a budget of what will produce when. Sales fills that. AR is a beneficiary of cash flow, right? It's not like this is what we're going to produce, and then who is going to, right? Mm-hmm. So that cascades from the top down. How complex you want to make that P&L. I've heard things say, well, that model, the model comes from other leading industry people. It's not, sure. Bob put his twist on it over time. However, it's a very proven company, top of class company approach to the P&L and budgeting system. And, people say, well, that's so complex. That's so deep. Well, Bob and I have always said, well, McDonald's, you think they go flat and go, it's just this? No, it's deep for them to be able to be successful. But the kid selling, he knows that the 3 chocolate chip cookies are a high profiting item and every person must be asked chocolate chip cookies. He doesn't have to know how deep the company is, but he knows what his deliverable is. How many cookies you sell a day, or always ask, like, oh, you didn't ask. Right. So it's, and I don't know if that's the best example, but everyone has their cascade down their deliverables. So a 3-person crew leader, he knows he's got 142 hours, or she knows they have 142 hours. They know. And, did they hit it? Year to date, last week, that's their number. And then it goes all the way up to, I had a total company P&L, snow, maintenance, enhancement, construction, it all rolled to the total company P&L. But
I love it.
That was my score. And we weren't winning everywhere, but my score was hitting. Private equity was hot, and I hit the button on a good day.
Yeah.
I didn't hit the button on a bad day. I didn't hit the button. I mean, some days it felt, because you're so caught up in the transaction going through. It's like, you can focus on buying a piece of real estate so hard that you can miss things because you're just trying to get to closing and on the 11th hour. So I think it's based off that, and then really getting to understand what's in it for your team. And if we do this, what do you get? Whatever the big CEO of General Electric, what's his name? The older guys, you see him. He just touched on that. He goes, look, if you're going to scale and build a good company, you're going to know what everybody wants to achieve personally in their own life, and you're going to make sure that everything you're doing at that company reflects back to. And Jill, right? You want to buy that house next year, right? Yeah, I need 20 grand down payment. Okay, well, go sell that, because that's what business owners are doing generally. They're trying to achieve something, whether it's a sports car, a boat, a vacation house, more trucks, whatever it is. They're hustling in that space. But if we don't get grounded with everyone else might be too, then it's a one-sided street. So I think you can get a momentum of people when you, that's probably the hardest part to it, to be honest, because people change and move too. Like they might have a kid 1 year, they might not have any kids 3 years before. So their aspirations are going to change, just like business owners do. But when you're a business owner in your own world, you get to live in your own head. And if you're not sharing that and trying to move the needle as a team, and that's why maybe some people don't want to do it, because once you get vocal about it, now you got to commit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can change your plans all day, and when you're running your own budget in your company in your head, what does it matter if you don't hit a number?
Right.
Because you just changed the number a day before anyway. But when you start getting a team around it,
it's accountability.
Yeah.
Man, that's phenomenal. I mean, that is phenomenal stuff. I've enjoyed everything that you've shared. As you're moving into Urture, where you're focusing here on apparel, it's a dream, it's something fun. What other cool slogans do you have out there? We got Mo Money. Is there any others out there that you've developed?
Put some dirt on it.
Put some dirt on it. All right, I like that. What else we got?
And I think someone goes, wow, that means a bunch of different stuff. But I always reflect it back to when I was a kid and you got stung by a bee. What'd you do?
You rubbed some dirt on it, right?
Put some wet mud on it.
I actually was thinking about burying somebody, but I don't know. That's just where my mind went. I don't know what's going on out there. The hat that you're wearing, is that one of your hats?
I say you can buy a hat, put some dirt on it. It's okay. We'll sell you another one.
There you go.
But what else? Latest, which is actually getting trademarked, is green collar. I think the green industry and many industries have a green flair and importance to it. Even if you're HVAC, I think you're probably installing better systems than you were 20 years ago for electric use. So there's a green collar component to all blue collar, I call it. Landscapers, why wouldn't we be tagging on to that? So I have the trademark. I have a bunch of trademark apps in right now. One is being able to use the word green collar on any clothing. I don't want to hold anyone from being able to use it, but a clothing company couldn't. No vest line is another word, and we actually had someone just inquire, yeah, I want to meet with you about the no vest line. The no vest line is eliminating a shirt that's already been decorated with your logo and then saying, oh, we want to be safe. Here's a vest to put over it. And then we're going to put another logo on that. It seems ridiculous. So we're trying to do, we do have a no vest lineup. We have 6,000 shirts getting sewn right now in India that will be getting shipped to 5 landscapers. So we're really releasing that line as we speak, and I'm getting the trademark on the word no vest. So no clothing company can ever put the word no vest with their clothing.
Man, that's exciting stuff. So if anybody's out there and they want to get a hold of you, they're interested in product, they're interested in shirts, apparel, clothing, how do they get a hold of you?
The website is up this year. It's called urture.com, urture.com.
Okay.
urture.com. On there, you have outfitting, which is, there's a web form that if you're a company and you want to get a meeting with us for us to present what we can offer you, you go through the web form. It actually a head count, how many branches, blah, 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 different, takes about 60 seconds. And then if you just wanted to buy hats, we're launching, you can do a web form on the patch project on the hats, but we're launching a whole new line. We have 7 SKUs with all different colors, all different, the rope, the corduroy, dad hat, trucker hat, all different versions, all different ways to decorate them now. Last year it was very prominent. If you remember at the show, it was all white patches across the hat.
Yep.
So you can really decorate them any way you want now. We're leading with hats. It's the common thing that I think is even a bigger identifier beyond shirts. It's like you put that hat on. It's an easy way to offer fundraising events, giveaway stuff. Like, it's hard to give away t-shirts. Everyone has different sizes, preferences.
Yep.
But I think at the end of the day, a hat's pretty easy. And we've sold on the ups of, I think we're hitting 10,000 first year.
Wow.
Our goal is to sell 1 million hats a year and give $1 million a year to trade schools, trades organizations, second arm, urban park projects, or nature spaces within cities is the second arm of the give back. And the third arm or leg is communities in need. So we're earmarked the communities in need. We're going to work with Samaritan's Purse. And then the community park projects is Project Evergreen. And the trades and education for the trades is going to be FFA, Skills USA, SIMA, and NALP.
Wow, I love
it. So when
man.
you do a purchase, every purchase you make, it's going to be where you click. So let's say you buy shirts this month, but then next month you buy hats. Every purchase you make, you'll always have a chance to click who. So the fire's just strung out in LA. You might have did a FFA, in the spring you clicked on trade schools, but then the fires just happened in LA. You're going to be able to click on Samaritan's Purse because they're sending vans as we speak. So your donations can kind of be more fluent on what is important to you or important at the time as a society. So we can kind of pivot and move, and it's not just one bucket. So it's kind of the 3 legs of the give back.
I love the give back.
Real quick, last year, when you bought hats, you would type your trade school in. You would go up, present a fake check, then they would go log on and redeem their $500 or whatever the donation was to their school. We found it very cumbersome. We found low activity. I think the purchaser or customer wants to help and make an impact, but I don't know if they really want to go to work doing it post the sale or purchase,
sure.
Right? So we said, look, we got to make it easier. We got to go high level, but then try to work with these organizations to go at a local level the best. We can't start local and go out, we actually have to go top down, I guess. So
Yeah.
we've kind of pivoted to less of a local trade school pick to national goes down. So
I love
more
it.
to follow on that. If you go on the website, you'll see a steering committee, Cheryl Steelberg, Cindy from Project Evergreen, Jen from Boss, Stephanie Leveling from Boss. I got Phil Saxton, John Richter out of Richter Landscaping, and he works at Boss. I was an old Boss user, so I met some of those guys over time. They've been we meet on a monthly basis, and they're the steering committee to try to help us focus on figuring out how to make the impact work, where it's not, well, we're going to sell a bunch of stuff. It sounds good to get back. And then you're stumbling in that space. So right out of the gate, we put that steering committee together. It's not a nonprofit. I eventually may actually create a trust that our donations go into and then make money. So maybe Urture doesn't even exist in 20 years, but the trust could, and that trust could keep giving. So give $50 a year for 50 years or give $100,000 once, right? So
Wow.
I'd rather it being a compounded interest game, I think, or at least a portion of it, that trust could be giving to those foundations for as long as money is in existence.
I love it, man. I love it. I mean, I love the give back. I love the trade schools. I love the Samaritan's Purse. I'm a huge into philanthropy and giving back. And, my personal mission statement is change the world. I love what you're creating. I love what you're doing. I think giving back for me is the most important thing. Incredible. Anybody out there listening, check them out. Check out Urture Apparel. And listen, buy your gear there. Buy your shirts there. Hook them up. I mean, I would rather, whether it's Carhartt or not, I'm not going to go down to the Carhartt store. I'm going to call you, right? Like, I would rather give to a good cause and, also, work with some cool guys in the industry who are making changes, doing big things. I love it, man. I think what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. I'm super glad you're on the show. Ton of great tips and points, but most importantly, I love what you're doing. I love that you're living your passion. I love that you got into apparel. I think it's absolutely incredible. Social media, where are you at on social media? Is your company out on social media? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, the Urture has pages on pretty much everything. And then Zech Strauser, Zech, last name Strauser. I throw a lot up on Facebook just because, and then it kind of dumps it over to Insta. But I think most of my time is starting to be spent and will be spent on LinkedIn. So that's where I would prefer anyone to engage. That's where I'd like people to share. That's where I'd like, because I think I'm more in a B2B space right now.
Yep.
And I think that's where I need to be spending most of my time. So
I love it.
And I enjoy that, right? Because I'm, I can't forget this. Work athletics. That's a new word. We think that work athletics, there's just such a tie between trades and athletics, like legitimate sports, right? A lot of people that are in the sports work in trades. I think entrepreneurs, I think their sport is work, or at least one of them. And I think there's this whole concept behind work, really kind of creating a league within workwear apparel, and the bridge over on entrepreneurship and working hard is cool. Like, hard work is back in style.
Yeah.
Let's work athletics. We're going to start like a campaign that almost looks like a college sport.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm a marathon runner. Okay.
I know, man. So, but you blend that world of like athletics, running, and meaning something to your work, and work means something to that, right?
I'm wearing snowplow hats when I'm running. I'm wearing cat shirts when I'm running, right? Like, if I
wear trucker hats. If I could, they make me wear helmets today, but I'm a ski coach now, again, part-time here and there, and was years back. So who knew that my shovel certified was going to be popular on a bump run? Well, you got to shovel the jumps, right? So like, hard work. Yeah, I want to wear a flannel skiing, to be honest, because I want to like get people like kind of thinking, what's that guy? So I wore a trucker hat way back on the mobile run. I thought it was cool. I had a big X mark on it, and most of my students are like, "What is that?" I was like, I just bought one, my first one, right? So I used to wear my hat backwards and I had a picture of a mower on it. So work athletics, right? And maybe create a league where, you know, Dave's got his bobblehead and he's a work athletic and this guy's a work athlete. So
I love
that's
it, man.
kind of
I
the
love
vision.
it. I love it. I think you're on to something huge there. Because, you know, when you're in the sports, I mean, when you're playing the game, when you're doing it, man, like you want to wear, like when I go run, I'm going to go run a marathon in Clearwater, Florida this coming Sunday. You know, the biggest thing I'm trying to figure out is actually Ralph's on the show. I'm like, Ralph, I need you to go make me a shirt. And here's what I wanted to say.
Exact. And I got to give this guy, I'm sure no one will go find him, but this book, I was at a fashion sourcing event in Manhattan, and this guy just nonchalantly ran into him in the aisle, and we get talking, and he pulls this book out. It's 60 pages of his whole career. What a great way to showcase your career, right? But anyway,
oh yeah, incredible.
And I'll tell you, the guy's name is Manny, and Manny behind the scenes was a person at Champion sweatshirts, right? So we all know what Champion is.
Yeah.
Know that in 2000, I didn't even know they came back. Well, they came back. And,
really?
Well, you know, when we were kids, people stole them. They were a big deal. If you're 45 and don't remember Champion being a big deal, you right? You do.
I remember Champion all day long. I still have some Champion socks, man.
Right. So I talked to this guy now, and what he did when they brought back Champion, he very grassroots helped bring Champion back. And it was to give you an example of things he did at 4 a.m. If Eminem wanted the new Champion sweatshirt at 4 a.m. in so-and-so wherever, Manny's the one that made sure Eminem got it.
Huh.
So he entrenched. And so I meet this guy and he's like, oh, yeah, so you're like Americana. He's like, yeah. So we talk and he's like, yeah, it's kind of like this, like builders league, this work athletics. It's all So he's my like real deep think partner on how to get my passion integrated into other people that might have similar passion, but I maybe figure out a way to spark it and they didn't even know. So it's turning someone into they want the hat, even though they don't wear hats, they want it because we stand for something. So it goes back to how we started, right? When we wear that hat, whatever, or that product, whatever it may be, we resonate with each other. So
I love it, man. You are doing awesome things. I'm excited to talk to you further. This has been a fantastic show. Any final advice for the entrepreneur out there?
I don't know. I would imagine what we talked about had to spark something. And I think entrepreneur, here's something. Don't confuse being a CEO with an entrepreneur because they're totally different things.
All right, you got to break that down for us. We can't just leave it with the cliffhanger without breaking it down.
I think CEO. So I'll name drop again, but a guy by the name of Owen, for space in his last name, helped bring Moose Jaw to a high level of success. Online e-commerce, sold multiple brands, hiking gear, all that stuff. Sells to Walmart. Walmart sells it to Dick's. Dick's opens Public Lands Sporting Goods, which is now we'll call it an REI competition. Owen helped that whole process. And he works with me for 1 hour a week as a consultant today for Urture. And he's a CEO. Now he can understand, I think, entrepreneurial space, but like CEOs, for lack of better words, pound the hallway and making sure departments are successfully synchronizing. And they're leading into the passion. Now, it's not to say a CEO doesn't have entrepreneurial goals and dreams and aspirations, but I think when you meld the two, it's risky. And I would love to create a brand quick enough that I have a CEO quick. I have that on my email signature. It says founder CEO, but I'd like to get to founder quickly because I think that's the way I can keep it fresh and challenge status quo. I think CEOs have to meet sometimes status quo.
Right.
And I think you start as a founder, you turn into a CEO, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. And it doesn't even mean you're good at that.
Right. I love it.
I think of that, and maybe use different acronyms or names, but think of, are you visionary or are you implementer? And I think CEO is a bit more of an implementer.
I agree. I agree. And if you kind of look at the EOS world of implementer, visionary, visionary is, I agree, is more very entrepreneurial, very outside of the box, thinking of new ideas, new growth, new things all the time. Yeah, I love where you went with that. I think that's
how does
fantastic.
a CEO hang around with a bunch of people talking about work athletics when you have to meet the number this month for investors, or it doesn't matter if you fund your own self with cash, you're still the investor. So it doesn't matter if it's private equity or you fund yourself and you don't have debt, you're still the investor, right?
Right.
So how do you bridge that? How do you have innovation when it's meet the number? It's hard.
It's hard, man. You're walking in two worlds. I love it. Right. A lot to think about. This has been a fantastic show. Thank you very much. For everybody out there, follow Zach on LinkedIn. Connect with him on LinkedIn. He prefers you connect there. I'm your host, Dave Westcott. Follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere it's social. I'm hanging out. Check out the show. We'll be back 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. Next Tuesday coming up. We got a lot of great guests, a lot of great shows, a lot of great things happening. Drop your comments into the comment box. If you like the show, give us a like, give us a share. Zach, thank you very much for being on today. It's been an absolute privilege, my friend.
Loved it. I could do it for 8 more hours.
Introducing the all-new Western Enforcer V-Plow. Engineered with all the features, efficiency, and performance of full-size Western V-Plows, built specifically for your half-ton truck. For more information, visit westernplows.com.